Hello and welcome to another episode of Quantumly Yours podcast with me, your host, Wendie Patrick from Finessium Health. I would like to first of all start by saying thank you to all the new followers, listeners, and all the multiple channels that you can find me on. And we've got people all over the world, and actually surprised to find we've got quite a following from Germany. So hello, all you listeners in Germany. Hopefully you'll stay with us and enjoy this. And to all the new ones who just found us, please look us up on all of your regular podcast stations that you enjoy. And if you want to watch it and see what I actually look like, the face behind the voice, that's me, and you'll find me on the YouTube channel under Dogs of Pride, which was the original start off of all of this crazy love and passion and following for doing everything that we can for the animals. And the three dogs that were in the original Dogs of Pride logo were Finn, Jesse, and William. So combining those names together, that's what came up with Finessium. So now you know why we're called Finessium, if you hadn't already known that. And top marks for those who did. So welcome again. I will preface this with saying that I'm not a vet. Most of this information is being through my own studies, through different educational levels that I've been through in the past, and all sorts of bits and pieces along the way, trial and error experiences with other animals, with other clients, and in fact, findings that they have shown me themselves as to what they need and don't need through my testing methods, which, as any of you who have been following me for a while will know, are applied kinesiology, or also known as sway testing or muscle testing. And I can do that remotely as well. So wherever you are in the world, you can still actually hire me to come and find out what's going on with your animal. And not physically in most cases, but remotely. So through methods like Zoom, FaceTime, Messenger, whichever it is, and we still connect regularly. And certainly it might sound a wee bit crazy how we can do that, but literally energy is everything. It's everywhere and it connects us all. And it's tapping into that electrical energy that runs through everything and everyone and everywhere that helps me connect. And certainly the results that we've shown and the results that we've had and the results that we are continually having basically prove that we can't make it up. There is actual truth to it. There is reality to it. And certainly that's why I like working with animals now more than anything else, because they can't lie. They might tell you the odd fib or two here or there, but in the general sense, they aren't swayed by what other people are doing, what marketing is telling them to do, or by a placebo or anything like that. So if you get results, you're getting results for a reason. And that's why I stand behind all the products that we also produce. Our smart oil is second to none, one of the highest anti-inflammatories on the planet, certainly with the ingredients of the highest antioxidant value on the ORAC scale in the complete planet, universe, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, what we're going to talk about today, as we get down to it, so obviously as well, if you're starting any new protocol, we always tell you to, see your vet, see your holistic practitioner. Don't just go willy-nilly into stuff if you don't know what you're doing. I always encourage you to do your research, and that includes even if you're looking at joining out with me or connecting with me, that you also look and see what we've done or what we do or how we do it. And certainly always open for questions, inquiries, and all of that stuff too. We try to answer everybody as best we can. Now, today's topic basically is about understanding and how we are going to help our senior pets. Whenever they get to a certain age, we always find sometimes that, they're just slowing down, or they're just not as energetic, or they're just not this, that, or the other thing. But there's lots of different things you can do to maintain a decent quality, not just a quantity. Quality is always going to be the top priority for our animals. So whenever that quality of life is feeling badly, see your vet, see your practitioners, go for alternative holistic complementary methods and different options that there are. And we'll go through some of those as well, so you can look into those further for yourself. If you think of a body when it's born, and think of it as buying a new car with a full fuel tank. Well, there's always a little bit of room for movement. Nothing is ever 100%. So whenever we think of it from our animal standpoint, if you've got two adults that are 70% and 80% healthy, you're not going to get a 100% healthy baby. And of course, if there's multiple babies in that litter, then that's also going to be shared out amongst those. So some will be more healthy than others, just depending on their makeup, what they had supplied whenever they were in the womb, as it were. And even the law of averages or simple maths, the healthiest baby could be maybe 75% healthy. So say you're starting now with a 3/4 full gas tank of fuel. Now, as you go through the years, if you look at this as having one tank for life, and that's in people as well, it's in ourselves. And that's why people get, you know, oh, I'm sore. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Nutritional deficiencies can occur because your body, when it goes through certain changes, whether it's even just moods, whether it's stress, whether it's something external forces, whether it's an injury, whether it's emotional like grief, the body will actually use up more of its stores of certain nutrients. And this can certainly cause an imbalance going on. Now you're going, where are you going with this, Wendy? I do actually have a route to go on this. I like to go on my little rants, but I'm trying to explain it in as quickly and precisely as I can. So I will always encourage everyone to learn how to muscle test their pets. Yes, go to our website, finessiumhealth.com. You will find a course there that you can do at your own pace as well and teach you to do exactly what I do and how I do it. And you'll see me doing all of the show and tells and everything on that. If you can do that, you can identify things an awful lot easier and a lot quicker than all of these different things of trying elimination diets, trying extra supplements, trying painkillers, trying whatever it is, and maybe not getting results. And 9 times out of 10, the most common phrase I hear when someone finds me is, we've just spent thousands on this dog and we still don't have any answers. I wish you'd found me first, because I could have pointed you in a better direction. Perhaps I could have tapped in with that animal and connected and found out exactly what's going on. I can test for nutritional deficiencies, toxicities, and that can also be a huge bearing on the body as it ages. Because if you have a toxicity or a buildup of something, say chemical or synthetic, that the body just doesn't understand how to utilize it, it might store that and then create problems with liver, kidney, heart. Any of the organs will usually suffer. So, how are we doing this with our pets as they're getting older? What do we do? Well, really, we need to start with looking at them as soon as they come into our home, whether you're adopting an older dog, whether you're taking over charge of an older dog from someone who's surrendered or whatever, or you're starting with that brand new baby puppy. Now, it doesn't matter what stage of life they're at, they're not going to be 100%. And that is just common sense. And actually, scientifically proven if you want to go that route. And as we talked about those law of averages, well, that's it. So how can you build up that fuel tank, if you like, to get healthier, to get better, or whenever you're starting with certain things? A few different ways to look at this. That body is coming with a pre-diagnosed by a vet, a certain condition. Well, a lot of times we will find is that a nutritional deficiency will allow that issue to continue. But if someone or something is born with a certain issue, it's labeled as genetic. And simply a genetic disease is the fact that the body didn't have enough of a particular nutritional element or something, or helping to the bones to fuse properly, the muscles to grow correctly, to allow them to be in the right positioning. And certainly we're not talking about something that's like a damage or car accident, or the dog's fallen or had an accident, where that can obviously deter that. We're talking about when they're born, and that genetic label that's put on can be actually rooted back to the fact that, well, if the mother or the father was deficient in a certain something that actually could prevent this disease, Well, certainly the puppy or child is not going to automatically appear and go, oh, well, I don't have that because I have. Where did they get that nutritional information from? Where did they get that missing link? They can't. So that's why genetic diseases are labeled as genetic. Of course they are. They're going to happen. They're going to be passed down because there's no way that that birthing mother can all of a sudden find all of this nutritional information or whatever it is to give it to the baby or the puppy or the kitten or the foal. And therefore, they won't have that issue. So we need to go right back. And this is going back to that root. And that's a hard dig. And that was a previous podcast I did some time ago. But digging and digging and digging, going through all of those layers to find out what's missing. And yes, this is actually all going to pertain to how we can keep that fuel tank at a better level, as opposed to them just running on empty by the time they get to their later life, senior years. So where will we start? We'll start at looking at different things that can affect this. And it's not just the nutritional deficiencies or genetic diseases that are passed on through the parents. It's also looking at what we're doing to our animals and ourselves as we go through life. Now, we've all been taught to follow this, follow that, trust that, listen to this, listen to that. But I think things are changing a little, and I really hope they are. I see it slowly, but I've been doing this for over 10 years now, so it's very slow. But people are still just gravitating more to what they're being told to do rather than trying to do some homework themselves. They go, they don't know where to look. That's absolutely fine. I understand that completely. It's difficult. I didn't know where to look until I found it. And that wasn't an easy journey either. So hopefully, if me sharing some of this information can help you just to look in a different direction than what you've always been focused on, like listening to this, watching that, reading this, Googling that, learning to muscle test, big, big, big key. But looking at your animals and just running off to the vet every 5 minutes is not helping them. And you know that you're spending more and more, the more expensive everything is becoming. And I mean, your vet sometimes can't find the answer either. But with maybe a joint issue, something else may be able to help rather than just loading them up with some chemical substance that is basically helping the joint because it's masking the pain. But on the other side of that, it's destroying the liver or hurting the gut lining or putting stress on the liver. And the kidneys are just, so be careful with just jumping on the same old bandwagon that we've been used to. I'm not saying it's wrong. There's no vet bashing going on here. They have a wonderful and very difficult job to do, and I appreciate that. But there are other options which you can help. You can help your vets in a sense where you're taking more note of what's happening with your animal. I always give someone the very easy 30-day protocol where you can look at your calendar, start today, start next week. It doesn't matter. And say if you're noticing that your pet's changing a little bit, then you can just mark them on a scale from 1 to 5. So think of 1 star being a really low day, or 5 stars being really great, fine, jumping around, happy, eating well, pooping properly, all of the natural things to do. And just mark for 30 days on a calendar from 1 to 5 as to how well or how bad your dog's day has been, or your cat, or your ferret, or your horse, or even yourself. Now, there's a very simple thing to find. And a lot of people, especially since I've moved across the pond back to the UK here, a lot of people are so in the dark about knowing about this. And that's parasites. Not many people are talking about it here. Whereas, I mean, 8 years ago, we were starting to talk about those over in North America. But it's a big thing where a lot of people will just give a chemical dewormer every so often. But that chemical neurotoxin that's going into the body is upsetting the balance somewhere else. And if that system wasn't at 100%, which it never is, nothing is, then it's going to be more detrimental than good in the long term. And that's what we start to see is all of this imbalance really showing up as the animal ages. And that's where we can see where things are more of an issue than they were before. So before you reach for that automatic monthly pill or topical or whatever it is, please do your 30-day protocol. Because if you have days around a full moon, now I'm looking 3 to 5 days before a full moon to about 3 days after. Standard I've found over the years has become 3 days before, day of, and 3 days after. And that's where you may see the differences. Sometimes it'll only be before the full moon. Some days or some months it'll only be after the full moon. Some months it'll be all over the place. So I always say keep an eye on that 3 days before, day of the full moon, and 3 days after. And if that's when your animal is worse, symptoms are worse, lethargy is worse, lack of appetite is worse, or whatever like that, then there's a very good chance that there are parasites in the system. And there are many natural things that you can do to help expel that. Why is it around a full moon? I'm sure I've covered this somewhere before. There's other videos and everything on the Dogs of Pride YouTube channel as well. But I'll go over this again for all our newer listeners or people that haven't found us before. Whenever there's a full moon, you know the moon has a direct effect on the tides. And whenever we're 70% or more water, that also has an effect on our own body. So when you're doing this 30-day thing for your pet, maybe do it for yourself as well. And find that, oh, hang on, I have parasites. People are going, we don't have parasites. We wash our hands. We're hygienic. Things are clean. Things are sanitized. Things are this, that, and the other thing. Brilliant. Do you know you can breathe in pinworm eggs just walking through your garden? I mean, you eat raw steak. Parasites in that. Pork's undercooked, handling that, cleaning out the litter box, and you haven't washed your hands. God forbid who does that. But there's always ways, and even gardening, just having your hands on the soil if you don't wear gloves, there's always a way for parasites to enter the body. Sushi, huge one. You're eating raw fish, especially if it's farmed. They're loaded with parasites, incredibly toxic. And this is just for yourself. So think about what you're doing with your animals, what they're getting into in the garden, what they're snuffling around at on their walks, what they're swimming in if they're going in the lake or the river or whatever else. Lots of chances for parasites to enter the body. But there's lots of ways to get them out naturally. And a healthy system will actually naturally expel them to a point. But some extra ingredients or supplementation will really help as well. So for the likes of your dog, my big favorite are furry rabbit ears. Yeah, they look gross. They may be a little bit ooey to start with. Once you start using them and you see that your dog is in better health, that's great. That's not just a one-stop shop. That's not the only thing. But some people will use Pudica mimosa. That has to be very carefully dosed for an animal because their systems are a lot more sensitive than ours and a shorter digestive tract as well. But ground up pumpkin seeds, they're fantastic. And even pumpkin powder, even throughout as an added supplement, is also very good for gut health and things like that. And the stronger that you can make or help that system become, the more that system will naturally manage itself. The body is very, very smart. The body itself is doing all of these little chemical interactions and different firings and different electrical responses and digesting and doing this, that, and the other thing without us overthinking it. And I say overthinking because we do. That's our biggest problem. If you start to watch your animal, look at your animal, what do? If they're tired, they sleep. We don't just go, oh, we'll have another coffee and head out the door again. So they'll listen to their bodies a lot more and they'll show us things as well. With our aging pets as well, we have to be careful with the fact if they're showing us symptoms of something like holding that paw up, limping, sleeping more, that's already an issue that has set in because animals will not generally show a weakness. In the wild, you show you're weaker than the rest, you're taken out. Our animals now are completely different situations, completely different living quarters, and completely differently fed as well. So there's lots of ways that they can't deal with things themselves, especially with lots of chemicals going in and nothing natural going in to help reset, rebalance that system or find out what's going on. So if your dog is limping or sore in the hips or anything else, look at that now. Even better, if you have the chance where you're starting with a puppy, start with a good maintenance routine. Look into to better supplements. Look into healthier ones without full of fillers. Make sure you're looking at those ingredients. Make sure you're muscle testing each one for themselves, whether it's for them or not for them. And that changes daily. So you do it every meal for everything. If you don't know how to do that, as I say, take that course, please. Even just Google how to muscle test or how to sway test, applied kinesiology. Look into it, find it out, practice it, learn it, and realize that is a game changer. And I cannot understate that enough. It really, really is. Lots of different things that'll cause extra inflammation in the body as well would be a lot of those chemical topicals, the flea treatments, the dewormers, even vaccinations. Vaccinations in themselves, I do not have a problem with. We need them. We need them for certain things. The thing is that the vaccine may be one thing, but the adjuvant that vaccine is carried in is completely toxic. They may be thimerosal free now, which are people are being aware of, that they're mercury free, which is known as thimerosal. But 70% of those are still aluminium or aluminum, depending on where you're listening to this from. So that is a heavy metal, and it builds up in the system, and it can help degrade and use up a lot more mineral stores because the body's trying to deal with getting this thing out that it shouldn't have in its body. So all of those things can add to inflammation, and lots of lacks of things can increase the inflammation as well because the body can't naturally manage it. Certainly, I mean, magnesium is one of your best things for level 1, 2, 3 of inflammation, but knowing the right magnesium to take, looking at the brand, research that brand. Just don't follow the marketing on anything. Just don't look at who's got the glossiest adverts, who's got the best buzzwords, who's got the fanciest social media staff that beat all the algorithms and get popping up on your feed first and foremost every time you open your phone. Look for yourself. Please start doing this for your animal's sake and your own. You'll find that there will be differences that'll happen. And certainly just because someone says, oh, take magnesium, don't go out there and okay, is it stearate? Is it citrate? What form is it? Whether it's been processed? Taking that alone can then offset the balance of other things. It can stop absorption of vitamins. It can unsettle like iron or calcium, all sorts of different things. There needs to be a balance, but finding that balance is always the hard thing. And that's why people end up spending thousands with no answers. Or they can go and find out, well, that my dog has allergies to certain things. Well, there are still nutrient deficiencies allowing allergies to happen. There are certain conditions that caused the allergies to happen. We touched on that a little bit as well when you're introducing a new food when the immune system is low. Big thing as well as your animals going on. I mean, we know what's causing what toxicity is, what's causing extra inflammation. I mean, even highly processed food, because it's all carbs and highly processed, overcooked. If you haven't looked into the 4Ds of processed food, or your overcooked or highly cooked kibble, then I suggest that you do that and go down that rabbit hole if you feel like it. But basically, that's causing inflammation as well because it's over processed. The dog is hungry. It's trying to absorb something from this cardboard that it's eating. And so it's storing it as fat. You see a pure raw fed dog compared to a highly processed kibble fed dog. And even in themselves, you'll see a difference in their weight, their size. And that's not just the food as well. I mean, we're very, very guilty and very bad sometimes about giving extra treats. I mean, I'll meet couples all the time, and the missus will always say, well, he keeps giving them extra treats because he always says he's hungry. Well, I mean, come on, catch yourself on. I can't go any further on that one. You know where I'll go. Gut balancing then. So certain things that can help with the gut, and the gut definitely is the second brain of the body. Lots of information happens in that. And certainly if you don't have a healthy gut, you don't have a healthy digestive system. You also don't have a healthy heart. There's certain things that the gut can do, and that's where your assimilation of nutrients and your absorption comes through once everything's processed in the gut, goes through into the intestines and everything else. So what can you do for gut balancing? Well, you can add lots of lovely little supplements. I'll go back to our pumpkin powder. That's really good. Bone broth. So yeah, don't get me wrong, people. If you're feeding a highly processed kibble, fine. That might be what your comfort level is because you don't want to deal with raw food. It might be your budget. And certainly you will find actually even feeding a raw diet can actually work out less expensive than a highly processed kibble. But it depends on what price point you're at with that kibble. I mean, if you're buying a £50 bag for £10 or $20 or something, well, it's not going to really be comparative to a 25 kilo or a 15 kilo bag or something, which is, $90 or 50 or £60 or more. But certainly things to look at. But additional things to add in are the likes of your bone broth. Great, because there's all your good things. Give them a raw meaty bone to chew on rather than some processed potato starch supposed dental stick. And God forbid that we ever touch on anything to do with rawhide. Stay away from that if people are actually still buying and using that for their animals. I don't know what century that you're in, but or decade, I suppose, because it's not that long ago that people have wised up and found that those just are not digestible. They sit in the gut like a big ball. It takes your dog ages to digest that, even if it ever does, because of the bleaches and the chemicals used to make that rawhide. It's not raw, it's not hide. By the time it's come in that plastic bag from China, it's anything but. The natural detoxing. So, yes, we're looking at those ground pumpkin seeds. We're looking at the furry rabbit ears. We're even looking at just better additions to the food that can boost that system and boost the immune system so that that body as a whole can actually determine how to work itself, how to heal itself, how to help itself. And whenever you have a healthy, vital animal, they will naturally detox what they don't need or can't use. Certainly, if you give your animal something that doesn't need, and as well as yourself, if you've eaten something that is not for you, that's going to leave the system pretty quickly, either one way or the other. So that's a good sign. Note that is not for that animal. If you changed a food, for example, if you're trying all these different things and your dog's been really, really runny poos on it or vomiting, bringing up stuff within a few hours of eating it, then you'll know that no, stop it. It's not going to get used to it. And you shouldn't be asking that system to try and get used to it. The body will reject something if it's not supposed to be there. So listen to that as well. Slippery elm, big fan. Slippery elm's a really good gut soother. It's gentle. If you have it with marshmallow root as well, there's lots of different things involved in that. And I mean, we're talking about natural things that have always grown from the land, natural, herbals, just natural supplementation that aren't full of nasty fillers. So look at your certified organic ones, look at ones from a good source, read your ingredients, stay away from things that have cellulose or sugars, definitely. Xylitol, of course, is a complete toxin for dogs. And make sure that you're actually looking at the right ones. Again, it's not necessarily going to be the most expensive one that's going to be the best, because you also want to see, was that big expensive one because they have billboards all over the place, shiny adverts in magazines, TV commercials, then that's what you're paying for in the product, not necessarily the quality of the product itself. So slippery elm, marshmallow root, pumpkin powder, bone broth, ground pumpkin seeds, also lots of other things. There's a great probiotic and mixture that I found from a company over here called ProFlax, and they're in the UK. Really, really great line of products. They have a liver tonic as well, which is very, very good. I use that actually because the dogs told me to use it, because that's what they were testing for around this most recent full moon. So I'm testing them for what they need, how much they need of it, and then they may not need it for another month or two. They'll let me know. The ProFlax one that I love is it's called Tummy-tastic, and that has been a game changer with both of my now elderly animals as well. It's helped settled their guts down. being better poos, more regular, less irritation, all sorts of things. And that's, again, Proflax, I'll do a little plug for them. Why not? I'm also an affiliate. So if you actually go on to look at any of their products, the liver tonics from them as well, you can use Finesse 15, FINNESS 15, and save yourself another 15% off. And that does apply when they're having sales as well. So there you go. Just something more to help you in that. In Canada, actually, my favorite supplement over there was Nutrify, and that was from Omega Alpha. Great line of supplements for animals there. Lots of different things that they have, and even for horses and stuff as well. They have lots of really good ones. So it's just a matter of having a look at things, looking at the ingredients, look at the ethics of the company, and make sure that they actually know what they're doing, that they have, say, third-party testing, for example, independent third-party testing, not somebody's uncle down the road in their office typing up on a different letterhead, but from a proper registered lab like we have with our smart oil, for example, as well. But just helping them as they age. Our smart oil was a great anti-inflammatory. It's great for joints. It's great for helping the body to help itself, because the ingredients in that actually do help to agonize the endocannabinoid system, which is a system that we've just really started to find out exists. Hasn't been that long ago that was actually discovered, that this is a network almost within the body that to send signals to certain areas to help heal itself. So the body is incredibly smart. I mean, the science has not come on that far that fast, and certainly the advertising of that has not come on at all, because there's so many people making so much money off so many other products. But whenever we find that we can help the body with what it's lacking in, so the body can help itself, the body will heal itself. And we can go back to that good old adage from Hippocrates or Hippocrates, food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Absolutely. So look up as well, if you're, not close to me or don't want to contact me for anything, if you have a wonderful naturopath or a homeopathic doctor or a homeopath or naturopath that deals specifically with animals, even better. Even some osteopaths and things like that will actually deal with more of your homeopathy, your herbals. Find a master herbalist who knows the safety of some of these things. As I say, there's lots and lots of things coming up on social media about this book and that book and the other book, and learning this, that, and the other thing. And certainly do your research on those before you go diving in and getting it, because you can do harm. Certain things always have a toxicity level. I mean, if you drank 10 gallons of water a day, you could actually drown yourself or whatever, things like that. But everything in moderation. And at the same time, as I say, we'll always promote the muscle testing aspect of things, because the more you can find out what works for your specific need, whether that's in yourself or your animal, the better that you can actually help. Because sometimes you might not be taking enough, that recommended daily amount that's there on a label, because that's legally needed. That might be not what's for you. You may need twice that amount for 3 or 4 days. You might need half of that amount for most of the time. Everything is going to change. We're always going to go back to that muscle testing point. And I'm sorry to drum it in, but I can't drum it in enough, because it is so, so vital and the great, great key to find out what's going on. So don't give up on the senior dogs. If they're slowing down, help them. Notice what's limping. Notice what paw has been held up. Have a look at the paw. It might just be a wee thorn in there, a wee grass barb or something like that. There may be a stone, there may be a little cut. But learn to listen to your animal, and including the grooming. Not just sending them off to the groomer every whatever many weeks that your groomer suggests to you, or just doing it or not doing it, as a lot of people don't. Going through that dog on a regular basis will highlight any lumps, any bumps, any bigger moles, any spots, any hot spots, any pain over waxy ears, where they're licking certain areas, and that's usually highlighting because that's where there's an issue. So if they're focusing on an area, they're telling you to focus on that area as well. we can do more to help them. Don't give up on them. A lot of people just pass it off as them aging and slowing down, but it could be that that gas tank is just running on a little bit above empty. And so you can add things and help things. And certainly, I mean, I've seen animals that have been given up on a multitude of times. And once we've actually looked and identified if there's been certain issues or lacks or more than there should be in the system, and help that system to deal with it itself, then we've given them a new lease on life in a lot of cases. So we always say that our dogs don't live long enough, and they really don't. I mean, as I'm sitting here with all my aged pets now and their double digits around me, it's very, very close. And certainly the more that I can do to help them stay with us a little bit longer, as long as they're comfortable. Again, we're going over that quality rather than quantity. But the more I can do, the better I can do for them, then I'm going to do it. So don't give up on them. Don't give up on them as well if they're starting to get snarly, barky, growly at other dogs. They'll usually be saying, back off, stay away, don't come near me, because maybe they have pain in the body somewhere. Maybe they have inflammation somewhere. Maybe they have a toxicity somewhere, inflammation in the brain, getting seizures, over vaccinations. There's lots of things to consider. And certainly I'm not giving you all the answers today because I don't know your dog or your cat or your horse or your llama or your goat or you. But don't give up on them. There are lots of things out there. This is more to say, don't give up on them. Keep them with you as long as you can, as long as they're happy, and they will let you know when it's time to go. We always know that. Trust the gut. And, check with your vet or whoever that you work with, whether it's a holistic practitioner or your breeder even. But know all these things, look out for these things, listen to these things. Just don't pawn them off and pass them off and go, oh, well, he's just getting older. That's fine. You can help that. You can definitely help that. And certainly if it's not for keeping them around maybe another few months, another few years even, is it not worth listening to that animal and doing something about it? So hopefully that's maybe sparked something, planted a seed. That's all I ask, because what I'm really here for is to try and help them have happier, healthier lives, and to try and help you be easier on your budget as well and get there with different options and different things. But don't be afraid to do a little bit of homework on your own. Trust your sources too. So check out who's paying them to give you a study. You'll find a lot of drug companies will pay certain influencers to put out certain information. And if they're doing that, well, is that really at the best interest of you or the dog or the animal? Sometimes not. Sadly, it's one of those cruel worlds that we're in. Learn a muscle test. I mean, that's the bottom line. Find out everything they need. In the meantime, you can always look us up. Find us through finessiumhealth.com. Subscribe, like, share, drop us a note, throw us an email, and certainly keep in touch, because if we can help you help them, that's literally what my job is. And these things are just to start that role. So hopefully this has helped a little bit. We'll see you on the next one, hopefully. And certainly you can always look up our all previous ones as well on so many different things as well. So hopefully we'll see you soon. In the meantime, stay possum. Remember that none of this information is to be taken as medical advice. We always recommend that you follow up or check with your vet or holistic practitioner before embarking on any new protocols for yourself or your animals. And we are never here to diagnose, treat, or cure. But I like to find issues and help you find issues and help fix them. There we go. See you next time. Bye-bye.